Yes, good evening and welcome to this fourth edition of our African STEAM and Hearings talk show, brought to you by Girls for Tech and Innovation Africa. Each year, in the month of May, we celebrate the International Day of Families, and it gives us an opportunity to promote awareness of issues affecting families, socially, economically, and all that. Since 2020 and the lockdown, we have experienced a huge change in how we see technology and how we use digital technologies to better our lives, to work, and to make our lives move forward. Today on this talk show, we are honored to have Miss Amanda. She's an IT professional from Ghana, and she's here to discuss with us the impact of technology and gadgets for the well-being of families and all that. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
Yes. For our first-time listeners and those watching us for the first time, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So feel free to share, comment, and share with your friends. Happy to have you here, Miss Amanda. You're welcome to Girls for Tech.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So these talk shows are geared towards showcasing people that have made huge developments in technology, science, engineering to better the world and better Africa and make Africa a better place. I have a few questions to start with. Good evening, and could you introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us a bit about your career and your field of work?
Okay. So my name is Amanda Bonuedie. Um, I'm married. I have two children, and I'm an IT person. I like to call myself an IT person, but my line of work is more focused on softwares, and so I do the software aspect of IT, and it's more of support focus. I can when I say support, what I mean is, so my line of work is more like offering a service in the form of supporting users on how to use a particular software, how to make the best use of that software, the best practices associated with the functions of that software and the like. So, for example, we all know Excel. We know it's a product of Microsoft, but there are several aspects of Excel that is not generally known. So, my work is like, if you want to make maximum use of the Excel tool, that's where I come in. I can help you by coming up with developing something on Excel for you to use, or I can show you how to make use of some of the functions that are already available on Excel. And that's just an example, by the way, on concerning the kind of work I do and what I'm into. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Yes, I agree that bridging the digital divide is more than just access, although access seems to form the basics of it. Now, when we talk about safeguarding um, user rights and equality, um, it's a number of issues here that we need to look at. For instance, let's assume that access is granted and guaranteed. A typical example I can use when it comes to safeguarding rights for example, is how to protect the users of, let me say, social media from bullying. It's quite unfortunate that as much as everyone, it's nice to have access to the internet and to the social media platforms that we have in the likes of Facebook, Instagram, um, Telegram, 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 and the like. We have people being bullied on it. Like, you express your opinion, someone disagrees, or something happens, you post it online, and people just decide to throw you. So at the end of the day, it's important that we also look at the fact that everyone who has access to um, any form of digital space or device should have their rights guarded. You know, the fact that you are on there doesn't mean that anyone at all can trample on your rights. There should be equal rights. And when you talk about equality, I can relate that to, I can say it's directly linked to the economy in terms of money in your pockets, like what you can afford. You know, it's uh, it's it's quite difficult to attain equality in the sense that let's say I can afford a particular device with a particular set of functionality. It's possible that my neighbor coming from the other side of town or from another place may not be able to afford it. So in case of equality in terms of um, purchasing power, or let me say in terms of the kinds of device you can have access to, we may not necessarily be able to bridge that gap because it boils down to the economy, or the to what the person has in terms of ability to fund or purchase a particular device. But in terms of using a using the social media platforms, I think safeguarding the rights of users of a particular digital platform can also eventually lead to creating a certain level of equality. As in, you can't just push someone around because you don't agree with them or that kind of on social media. So I think I hope that that's clarified for the second question. Yes, it's important to equip children with digital skills. We are in a digital age where everything is being digitalized. I mean, very soon, the mundane routine jobs we know will be automated, and as a result, certain jobs will become outmoded because there'll be robots and there'll be algorithms and all kinds of digital devices handling those. So it's important that we expose and equip our children with these skills as they are growing up, as they are maturing. They should be able to hone and harness and develop these skills for the future. Um, a typical example would be for instance, in the financial sector, more specifically the banking sector, which I'm in. Um, the, 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 the industry is going more towards digitalization in the sense that there are a lot of things that before you need a human being to interact with to get it done. But now with the onset of new technologies and I mean with where the world is heading to now, a time is going to come where we won't even need a physical branch of for a bank to be able to bank. We have mobile apps, we have internet banking. All these things are eventually going to evolve and totally take up the banking space. So it's very important that our children are given that skill set at an early age, because the time is going to come if you don't have that skill set, it will be very difficult to gain employment anywhere. And not just employment though. Okay, so for my advice to parents on the exposure of gadgets is regulation. So you want to expose your child to having access to these gadgets, the tablets, the mobile phones, showing them how to use it, the laptop, showing them how to use it, but it should be regulated. And I think you should also have rules around the usage of these gadgets, such that when those rules are breached, the privileges of the children will be withdrawn. So there should be some sort of control, especially since now it's very easy for them to be exposed to more than necessary. Most of these devices are coming with internet access and all that, and you can even put measures to block certain things on the internet. But as long as they have access to it, they are definitely going to be exposed. So it's best for now, whilst they are young, to regulate it as much as possible. They can have screen times, limited screen times, so that they don't lose sight of other important things like spending time doing physical activity and other things that are also equally important to their development.
Yes, those were very insightful words. The bit about safeguarding rights of all users on social platforms and making sure young people have access to gadgets as early as possible and learn digital skills, because that will prepare them for jobs of the future that are not even here right now, is, I think, something we will all learn from and look at as we go along. The words that will keep with us as we go along. On behalf of Girls for Tech and Innovation Africa, I would like to thank you, Miss Amanda, for being with us today, and we are so grateful for your time. We know you have a lot of things going on. You're very busy, but you spared a minute to talk to us. We will keep the notes from your inputs on this conversation, and we hope that your inputs will help shape the future of many people and inspire many young women and young people across Africa. Thank you very much for being with us, and we are grateful. To our viewers and participants, we thank you for being with us today, and we thank you for always sparing the time to be with us and listen to the different topics that we bring up. You have ideas on gadgets and how early should gadgets be introduced to young people. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, comment with the age that you think children should start having digital gadgets. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good evening.